Chosen one, it's no accident that this message found you. God orchestrated it. Your spirit was guided to this precise moment because deep down, your soul has been yearning to hear these very words. You're extraordinary, always have been. Your path has been different because your calling is unique. While others basked in the spotlight, you were set apart. While they were seen, you were hidden away. And while the world overlooked you, heaven was meticulously preparing you. You've been flourishing behind the scenes, in the quiet moments, in solitude, in those unseen corners of your life. And now, the moment is approaching when God will reveal the magnificent masterpiece He has been sculpting within you. The world is about to witness what heaven has always known to be true. You were chosen. Now, let's delve into this further, breaking it down into 7 chapters for a more profound understanding. But before we continue, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This isn't just entertainment. It's a divine revelation, a spiritual confirmation tailored specifically for those God has been nurturing in silence. And I want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who has supported this channel, especially those who contribute through super thanks. May God bless you abundantly in ways that surpass human comprehension. Your support, your presence, and your unwavering consistency have not gone unnoticed, either by me or by God. If what you're hearing resonates with your spirit, type 77 in the comments right now. This number isn't random. It's a heavenly signal, a declaration that you're ready. Ready to emerge from hiding. Ready to embrace your calling. Ready to be revealed to the world in the way God always intended. Understand this. Not everyone who started listening to this message will stick around until the end. Only the truly chosen will remain because what I'm about to share carries significant weight. It holds identity. It holds destiny. It holds truth. And truth has a remarkable way of calling out those who were destined from birth. This message isn't something you simply listen to once and then forget. It's a spiritual blueprint, a divine instruction manual, a living word that will continue to unlock deeper layers within you each time you engage with it. So, whenever your spirit guides you, return to this message, because each time, something new will awaken within you. Let's jump in. Chapter 1. The Hidden Season, Chosen One. God deliberately concealed you. The silence you endured wasn't abandonment. It was preparation. You were placed in a season of privacy where you felt misunderstood, where nothing seemed to make sense, where you were compelled to walk alone. That period felt confusing, burdensome, and isolating, but it was sacred. God wasn't ignoring you. He was ensuring that nothing could interfere with the work He was performing within you. You weren't being delayed, you were being developed. During that hidden season, you were stripped of everything that wasn't meant to accompany you into your future. Relationships faded away. Friendships dissolved. The people you thought would always be there gradually drifted apart. Opportunities vanished. Plans crumbled. Doors slammed shut one after another. And you wondered if God had gone silent or if He had simply forgotten you. But God performs His most profound work in silence. He needed to eliminate the distractions. He needed to separate you from the familiar. He needed to remove you from the people who would have stunted your growth. He needed to detach you from the environments that were draining your spirit. You didn't lose them. God removed them. You didn't miss out. God redirected you. You weren't left behind. God was guiding you to a different path. In that hidden season, your spirit was being trained. You learned to pray without the need for an audience. You learned to worship without requiring a crowd. You learned to trust God even with tears streaming down your face. You learned to stand firm even when your strength had completely vanished. You learned how to survive spiritual warfare all by yourself. You learned how to discern God's whispers in the quiet stillness. You learned how to rely on your faith more than your fleeting feelings. And because of all that, you transformed into someone different. Your heart grew more compassionate. Your mind became more disciplined. Your soul became more deeply anchored. Your intuition sharpened. Your discernment grew stronger. Others simply aged, but you gained wisdom. Others learned facts, but you discovered truth. Others gained experience, but you gained spiritual awareness. That's precisely why you can't revert to who you once were. That's why you no longer fit into the places you once did. That's why those old connections now feel unfamiliar. That's why your spirit feels restless around certain individuals. You have outgrown the past. You have graduated to a higher level. You have evolved. God hid you because he was quietly shaping you into someone powerful, someone the world isn't quite ready for yet. He had to shield you from those who would have misunderstood your calling, drained your spirit, or delayed your destiny. You weren't meant to be seen during your transformation. You were meant to be revealed after you had become unbreakable. Now the hidden season is drawing to a close, and when God reveals you this time, you will be undeniable, unshakable, unmovable, unstoppable. Your time in the dark wasn't death. It was transformation. Chosen one, God hid you because he was preparing you to be revealed with glory, not with scars. Chapter 2. The breaking process. Chosen one, before God elevates someone, he breaks them. Not to destroy them, but to remove everything that can't accompany them to the next level of their destiny. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the sudden endings, the unexpected losses, the disappointments that shook your faith. None of it was random. Those were spiritual operations. God was surgically removing pride, cutting away insecurity, uprooting dependence on others, and eliminating the need for validation from the world. He was creating space within your spirit for the fullness of what he had planned for you. You might have begged God to save relationships he was trying to end. You might have clung to jobs, opportunities, or circumstances he was trying to shut down. You might have questioned why he allowed certain people to betray or disappoint you. But now you understand that those people couldn't go where you're going. Those environments were too small, too shallow, too unprepared for your destiny. Those connections would have weighed you down or misdirected your calling. The breaking process wasn't about punishment. It was about preparation. It was about dismantling what was holding you back so that your spirit could expand. It was about teaching you to rely on God alone. It was about refining your heart, strengthening your mind, and awakening your soul. The pain you survived didn't destroy you. It awakened you. It matured you. It stretched you in ways you never thought possible. It forced you to dig deeper than you ever imagined. You became stronger than you even realized. Every tear you shed was a seed. Every sleepless night was a spiritual workshop. Every disappointment was a lesson in endurance. Every betrayal was a training ground for discernment. Every loss was a preparation for greater gain. The breaking was necessary because to carry a great calling, you must possess great strength. And strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in fire. Strength is built in pressure. Strength is built when life says no, and God says yes anyway. You didn't see it then, but the pain you endured was producing power. The tears you shed were producing wisdom. The nights of loneliness were producing resilience. The moments of despair were producing faith. You were being equipped to handle more than you thought you could handle. You were being prepared to receive things bigger than you had ever imagined. You were being transformed into someone unshakable, unstoppable, and undeniable. And now, when life challenges you, you don't panic. When people leave, you don't collapse. When storms rise, you don't crumble. When circumstances shift, you don't lose faith. Because you're no longer the one who was broken. You're the one who was rebuilt. You're the one who was strengthened in the secret place. You're the one who now carries a power no one can explain. The breaking wasn't the end of you. It was the making of you. The breaking wasn't a setback. It was a setup for your greatness. The breaking wasn't a defeat. It was a divine design. Chosen one, everything you went through was necessary to reveal who you truly are and what God placed within you. And now, the strength that came through the breaking will carry you into the next season of glory, favor, and divine alignment. Chapter 3. The Silent Training. Chosen one, while others were being praised, noticed, and celebrated, God took you behind the curtain. While they were being seen, you were being shaped. While they were getting recognition, you were getting revelation. God wasn't ignoring you. He was investing in you. You weren't being delayed, you were being developed. In that quiet season, you learned lessons that couldn't be taught in classrooms or churches. You learned through experience, through endurance, through pain, through patience. You learned how to survive storms without seeking sympathy. You learned how to be misunderstood and still move with grace. You learned how to hold your peace when you could have defended yourself. That wasn't weakness. It was training. Heaven was refining your spirit to carry a weight that others couldn't handle. While others were seeking validation, you were learning consecration. While others were chasing attention, you were building inner strength. While others were collecting followers, you were collecting wisdom. While others were mastering performance, you were mastering discernment. You were in boot camp for destiny. God trained you like a warrior in the spirit through discipline, silence, and separation. You were taught to hear his whisper in the chaos. You were taught to stand tall in the fire. You were taught to find stillness in storms. Every private battle was a divine exercise designed to increase your spiritual muscle. You learned how to discern energy, intentions, and spirits, not through books, but through experience. You learned to sense deceit before it spoke. You learned to feel darkness before it moved. You learned to trust your spirit more than appearances. God was training your eyes to see beyond the surface, your heart to perceive truth, and your ears to hear his instructions even in the noise. You learned humility. You learned surrender. You learned patience, not as weakness, but as power under control. You learned that silence can speak louder than defense, that stillness can be a form of strength, that waiting isn't wasting when it's done in faith. You learned that God's timing is never late. It's always strategic. Many didn't understand why you withdrew. They thought you were falling off when in reality, you were falling into purpose. They thought you were quiet, but you were listening. They thought you were stagnant, but you were transforming. They thought you were losing, but you were learning how to win spiritually first. You were being trained in secret because your mission is sacred. You were being hidden because what you carry is holy. You were being prepared because your next chapter requires precision. Warriors don't train in the spotlight. They train in the shadows. And you, chosen one, have been trained in silence so that when the time comes, your actions will speak louder than your words. God has been teaching you how to move with wisdom, how to respond with discernment, and how to lead with divine authority. You learned how to fight without fighting back. You learned how to love without losing yourself. You learned how to pray when there were no words left. You learned how to find purpose in pain. That's what separates you. That's what qualifies you. The world can't understand your calmness, your patience, your confidence because they didn't witness your training. Chapter 4, the separation phase. Chosen one, there came a time when God had to separate you from people you thought would stay forever. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It wasn't punishment. It was positioning. You didn't lose them by accident. Heaven orchestrated the distance for your protection. You may not have understood it then, but what looked like loss was actually divine preservation. It hurt, confused you. It made you question your worth and even wonder if you were the problem. You tried to hold on to people God was trying to release. You tried to fix what God had already closed. You tried to explain yourself to those who were never meant to understand you. But the truth is, God saw what you couldn't see. He heard conversations you were never meant to hear. He saw intentions hidden behind smiles. He felt the energy behind your back when you weren't around. So he stepped in quietly, lovingly, powerfully, and he started removing. God removed distractions. God removed pretenders. God removed manipulators. God removed those who were secretly competing with you while pretending to support you. God removed those who admired your light but were jealous of your calling. God removed those who would have sabotaged your next season out of insecurity. At the time, you may have prayed for some of them to stay. You may have cried over their departure. You may have begged God for closure, wondering what went wrong. But nothing went wrong. Everything went right. Because God's separation isn't rejection. It's direction. He was protecting your purpose, not punishing your heart. He knew that where he was taking you, loyalty would matter more than history. He knew that your next level required people with clean hands, pure hearts, and spiritual alignment. He knew that you couldn't carry everyone into the promise because some were only meant for the process. He knew that too many voices would drown out his whisper. He knew that too many attachments would weigh you down when you needed to soar. Chosen one, that's why he isolated you. That's why you started feeling misunderstood. That's why the circle got smaller, the room got quieter, and your phone stopped ringing. Heaven was filtering your connections the same way gold must be refined by fire. Your relationships had to go through a refining, too. And yes, it was painful. Yes, it felt lonely. But that loneliness was sacred. That isolation was an altar where God rebuilt your identity. He needed to show you that your value doesn't come from who claps for you. It comes from who created you. In the separation, you learned how to stand without support. In the separation, you learned how to hear God without interference. In the separation, you learned how to rely on faith instead of validation. In the separation, you discovered your own voice, your own strength, your own spiritual rhythm. God wasn't taking people away from you. He was taking you somewhere they couldn't follow. You were being elevated, and elevation requires separation. Just like an airplane must leave the ground to reach the sky, you had to leave behind certain people, places, and patterns to rise higher. Chapter 5. The Rise of Identity. There comes a sacred moment in every chosen one's journey where the fog lifts and clarity floods the soul. It's the moment when everything you've been through begins to make sense, not just emotionally, but spiritually. You begin to understand why you were hidden, why certain people left, why certain doors closed, and why certain battles were so intense. You begin to see that nothing was wasted, and nothing was random. Every piece of your past has been part of a divine pattern designed to reveal who you truly are. This is the season where identity rises. You're no longer the person who seeks validation. You now walk in revelation. You no longer chase approval. You carry divine approval. You no longer look outside for worth. You recognize the value that's always lived within you. Chosen one, the reason life has been uncomfortable lately is because you are outgrowing everything that once confined you. You can't go back to the old version of yourself because that version was built for survival. The one standing here now has been built for purpose. You are no longer living just to get by. You are living to glorify. You've started to notice how certain conversations no longer interest you, how certain people no longer align with you, how certain environments feel spiritually heavy. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. Your spirit has awakened, and it can no longer fit into the small spaces it used to tolerate. You've been stretched too far to shrink again. There was a time when you questioned your worth, when you tried to fit into circles that didn't value your depth. You wanted to belong so badly that you dimmed your light to keep others comfortable. But that time is over. You no longer need to beg for a seat at the table. You are the table. You no longer need to explain your worth. It's written all over your presence. You no longer need to chase opportunities. They will now be drawn to your energy. You're beginning to realize that being different was never a curse. It was your confirmation. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to stand out. Your difference is your distinction. Your uniqueness is your anointing. And the very things that made you feel isolated are now the things that will make you influential. Your identity isn't based on what the world says about you. It's rooted in what God spoke over you before you were born. You carry a signature from heaven that can't be duplicated or denied. And when you finally accept that truth, something powerful shifts within you. You stop walking like you're lost and start walking like you're led. You stop questioning if you belong and start realizing you were sent. This is the rise of your divine identity, the unveiling of who you were before pain tried to define you. Every storm, every betrayal, every delay was part of the unveiling. You've gone through seasons where you were stripped of everything that wasn't real so that only truth would remain. That truth is you are chosen, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your energy changes, your posture changes, your speech changes. You no longer need to explain your faith, you live it. You no longer need to prove your worth. You embody it. You no longer move with insecurity. You move with authority. Chapter 6. Divine Timing and Revelation. Chosen one, God will only reveal you when the time is right, not a second too soon and not a moment too late. You've been hidden long enough, trained long enough, refined long enough. The waiting, the wondering, the frustration, it was all part of a greater design. Heaven has been working behind the scenes, aligning divine timing with your internal readiness. And now that season of quiet preparation is nearing its divine conclusion. The time of revelation is approaching. You see, God never exposes what he hasn't already established. That's why he kept you low while he built you up. He was strengthening your foundation so that when the spotlight came, you wouldn't collapse under the pressure. The hidden years weren't wasted. They were sacred. Every silent battle, every lonely night, every unseen victory was an investment into your divine unveiling. Now, everything that was delayed is beginning to align. The doors that once seemed permanently shut are creaking open. The people who were meant to connect with you are being drawn by divine orchestration. The opportunities that once felt far away are now circling closer. The environment around you is shifting. And even if you can't fully explain it, you can feel it. Something is stirring in the unseen realm. Heaven is positioning you for a reveal that will silence every doubt and justify every season of waiting. When God reveals you, it won't be gradual. It will be sudden. It will be swift. It will be undeniable. It will be public. One moment you'll still look like the old version of yourself. The next you'll be standing in rooms you didn't apply for, speaking to people you never thought you'd meet, receiving blessings that seem impossible to trace. That's how divine revelation works. It doesn't follow human timing. It follows heaven's schedule. People will look at you in disbelief. They'll say, "How did this happen? When did they change? How did they rise so fast?" But what they won't see is the years of invisible work, the private pain, the spiritual stretching, and the unseen sacrifices that built your strength. They will see the glory, but not the story. Chosen one, your rise will confuse those who underestimated you. The same people who once ignored you will now study you, and you won't even need to say a word. Your transformation will speak for itself. The evidence of God's hand on your life will be too obvious to deny. But remember this, your revelation isn't just for recognition. It's for purpose. God doesn't elevate to impress people. He elevates to impact lives. He reveals you to reach others, to inspire, to demonstrate his power through your story. The spotlight isn't for your ego. It's for his glory. Every delay was divine protection. Every closed door was redirection. Every disappointment was preparation. God had to withhold certain things because the version of you back then wasn't equipped to sustain them. But now, after the refining, after the pruning, after the growth, you are ready, not perfect, but prepared. Chapter 7, Your Public Elevation. Chosen one, the time has come for what was hidden to be revealed. You've been refined in private, strengthened in silence, and prepared away from the eyes of the world. Every tear, every prayer, and every moment of endurance has led to this season. God is about to make your name known, not for pride, but for purpose. This isn't about fame. It's about fulfillment. The same people who doubted you will now see the evidence of God's hand on your life. The same ones who overlooked you will witness what divine favor looks like. You didn't chase recognition. You stayed faithful in the shadows. And that's why heaven is now ready to shine its light on you. Every delay was divine. Every closed door was protection. God was never denying you. He was developing you. Now your preparation is meeting divine timing, and nothing can stop the revelation that's coming. When God elevates you, it won't be gradual. It will be sudden, undeniable, and powerful. You are being positioned as living proof of what endurance and faith can produce. Walk with confidence, but remain humble. Speak with authority, but stay grounded. You weren't built for attention. You were built for impact. Chosen one. This is the season where your name will reach places your feet haven't even stepped yet. Doors that were locked for years will begin to open effortlessly. The favor that once seemed far away will suddenly surround you. Your testimony will inspire those who are still in their wilderness. Those who once whispered. From this point forward, people will be compelled to respect you. There will be no need to continuously validate your value or prove your abilities. Your accomplishments and newfound status will speak volumes for themselves. However, it's crucial to remember that this elevation comes hand in hand with responsibility. Your ascent isn't merely for personal recognition. You are rising to serve a greater purpose. God is strategically placing you as a beacon of light in areas shrouded in darkness. He is entrusting you with influence because you have demonstrated unwavering faithfulness even in times of isolation. Every blessing that comes your way should serve as a constant reminder of His unwavering faithfulness, not a testament to your own personal fame. While the world will undoubtedly witness your rise to prominence, heaven knows that it was built upon a foundation of obedience, prayer, and purity of heart. Your season of being behind the scenes has now served its purpose. You have been rigorously tested, meticulously trained, and ultimately trusted. Now, the very same God who has nurtured and developed you in secret will unveil you publicly. Stand tall and unwavering. The world is on the verge of witnessing the immense power of what God has placed deep within you. Celebrate this moment wholeheartedly. Embrace it fully and allow it to inspire others to pursue their own divine calling. Carry yourself with pride and confidence, but always allow humility to guide your every step. Your public elevation is not the final destination. It is, in fact, the beginning of your most significant assignment. Heaven is speaking volumes through your life, and absolutely nothing can hinder its message from reaching the world.